What's up, everyone? What's up? How you doing? Hey, it's Dan, the food in my beard. I'm here for another Thursday stream. Really excited, as always, to be here. If it's your first time watching the Thursday stream, what we do is I'm basically testing a recipe for the first time with you all. I like to hear your feedback, comments, see what you think about the recipe, and possibly even make changes based on what people say. And today, I'm making Tonkatsu tater tots. If you haven't had Tonkatsu, it's a breaded piece of pork that's like a cutlet, basically. It's a Japanese dish, and it is usually served with basically like a sauce. It's like a ketchup-based sauce. So I'm serving that over some cheesy tater tots, because why not? Because especially I haven't cooked some tater tots in a little bit. I grabbed the wrong pan here. That pan's for later. So we're going to get right to it. And the first step is going to be get the tater tots into the oven for later. And if you've read my book all about tater tots, you will know that I basically, it's a little different than what the package says, but I toss them with a little oil in the pan, a tiny bit of salt, and I put them in the oven a little bit higher than the package says. And if you have convection on your oven, I highly suggest doing convection. I have it set for convection. So just toss these in the oil and the salt right on the pan. And that should be good. And then spread them out. And I'm going to get them in the oven so that they're ready for when I'm plating the recipe. So how's everyone's Thursday going today? Mine's good because it's tater tot time. But also it's been a busy week for sure. So it's Thursday. The Thursday live stream to me marks like the beginning of the end of the week. So I always like that. Crack a beer right after and start relaxing. Play some Stardew Valley with Georgina. The next thing I'm going to do is make some of the toppings for the tonkatsu. So, yes, it is almost Friday. I'm going to also call this tonkatsu a lot during this stream because it is a tater tot tonkatsu. So usually if you get it, if you've ever had it, it comes with this pile of like paper thin cabbage. So I'm just going to get that ready so that when everything else is ready, I can just throw the cabbage on there. And you really want to make sure to go thin with this. Yeah, I guess that's as thin as I can go. You could use a mandolin for this, or perhaps your shredding setting on the food processor. But I mean, I don't think it gets it thin enough. All right, that's plenty. And now I'm gonna slice some scallions. Cool. So that's just stuff I'm putting on top. The next thing I'm gonna make, green to white. Oh, is it just because it's so washed out in here that it looks white? It does look pretty white though. All right, so the sauce Oh, used to chopping scallions starting at the white. Well, you know, because the cabbage is lighter colored, I wanted to use like the darker parts of the scallions as the topping so you could really see them. Like usual, I'm thinking more about the photo than the taste. But if you are using scallions and you want them to be more oniony, start with the white part. And if you want them to be more like herbaceous and less of an onion bite, you go to the green part. So for the sauce, you can buy the sauce too, and it's pretty good. I'm going to make it. And mostly it's just because I'm tempting fate to not get a bunch of fart sounds on my live stream. So the ketchup is going to go first, and then I have some sriracha. And sriracha is not usually in it, but I wanted a little bit of heat here. So that's my personal addition. And then the soy sauce. Oh, and I forgot one thing. It's usually Worcestershire in here. There's usually sugar, but I'm going to put a little honey just because that's kind of what I do. And also, it's going to take less time for the honey to like, usually you'd want to let it sit for an hour to let the sugar dissolve. And I'm just going to do a very light touch of rice vinegar. Sometimes there'll be mirin in here. Hey, Vicky, welcome. And I have to go get that Worcestershire that I forgot. I got the bigger honey, so because this is not going to work. We buy large amounts of honey here. All right, a good amount of Worcestershire there, and then the honey to finish it off. Not a lot. The sauce is very brown, if you've ever had it. So just going to mix this together. Also, oh, I did already. Good. I'm thinking ahead, you guys. That was rice vinegar. I would say this is a little too red. But the more prominent ingredient is Worcestershire versus soy sauce. Like when you eat it, you kind of really get the Worcestershire front and center. What's up, Rich? Welcome. This actually looks great. And yeah, it is going to be a little redder because I did add the sriracha. Bonito. Did you have it, Rich? It's interesting that they actually had Tonkatsu tots. Way too fragrant. Bonito is like if you were to make Parmesan cheese, but with fish instead of milk. If that makes sense for anyone. All right, because this is me, I'm going to put this into a squeeze bottle so that it looks good in the end. But thankfully, it's like smooth enough that I'm not going to have a hard time with it. Don't worry, Georgina. I didn't hear you fighting a bug up there. Good thing Frida's not here. She would be attacking it. Rich, the sauce is like ketchup, Worcestershire, soy sauce, sriracha, honey, and rice vinegar. I'm sure a few more people will ask that throughout the stream. All right, so let's see. What have we done so far? We put the tots in the oven. We made the tonkatsu sauce. And we sliced up some toppings. So next I'm going to make the cheese. There we go. New camera setup today. Just getting used to things. So here I have milk, cheese, and cornstarch. And as usual, the milk is not real milk. My weekly comment. And you may ask, Dan, really odd of you to put that much cheese in the smaller cup and that much milk in the bigger cup. And you'd be correct. I meant to add the cornstarch to this while it was still cold. All good though. We're gonna improvise here. The cornstarch is a much better thickener when you add it to something room temperature or cold. So that's why I'm doing it this way. You just want to whisk that together. It's called a slurry. All right, now I'm going to put that in here. And you can already see it's thickened a little bit. Rich, you met, or no, John, welcome. I will catch you up. I sliced some cabbage and green onions. I made the tonkatsu sauce, which is really just like ketchup, Worcestershire, soy sauce. And I put the tater tots in the oven. So normally when I make a cheese sauce, I always tell people don't use pre-shredded cheese because it's harder for pre-shredded cheese to melt into the liquid because it has anti-caking agents in the bag to prevent it when it gets to like room temperature sometimes in shipping to all just like become a big blob of cheese. Today, however, I didn't plan well enough ahead because I was gonna make these with like shredded cheese melted on top of the tots as opposed to a cheese sauce. But at the last minute, I was like, this actually needs a sauce. And thank you, John, for convincing me that I was correct in that thinking. We had a little phone call before this. So I have pre-shredded cheese, but it should work. It should work. And I took this off the heat first. And I have a setting on my stove that's just like warm. So I'm gonna, if I didn't have that and I wanted to use this quicker, I'd basically like put this on and off and just try to like very gently heat it up. But because we have a little time right now, I'm just gonna throw this on that warming spot and let it just do its thing for a little bit, and it'll melt super slowly and not curdle. That's the worry. If you heat that part too much, it could definitely curdle. The acidity will cause the milk to break, and then the cheese breaks, and everything's broken. You can fix it sometimes with a blender, like a hand blender, but It doesn't always get to like the right nice cheesy texture after it breaks. I'm just gonna slide this over. And I have a little breading station here. I have a new microphone and I forget that I can talk to you guys when I'm like facing the other direction. You can hear me now. Typical breading station, flour, eggs, and panko breadcrumbs. This is a Japanese dish, so the panko is definitely more standard on it. Rich, I'm not sure if I can turn it up. I noticed it was a little quiet today. Here, let me try to do that for you. Just for you. How about now? Is that better? Does it sound a little weird though? Like, I like the soft whisper. Bread hands. How about that? I feel like now you can hear the hiss though. Now I have to change that too. I'm a perfectionist when it comes to these sounds. Very important to get it right for you all. That should probably be good. I wouldn't get bread hands, by the way, Alex. I'm an expert. I'm an expert here. It's not my first fry session. We're not deep frying though. These are just going to be a shallow pan fry. And I bought these thin sliced pork chops from the store because I didn't feel like doing any slicing. You also could definitely like pound them again. Sometimes I love doing that stuff, and other times I would rather let the grocery store do it for me. I'm just going to check on that cheese sauce. Cheese is coming along great. John, I'll tell you the answer to that is that I only have like a pretty large-ish whisk. So I just like using the fork. I should get a few smaller whisks for stuff like this, I think. But I don't have it. I tend to only buy really like the essential stuff that can't be replaced by other things. For me, a fork can do a lot of the jobs that a small whisk would do. So just a very light coating in the flour, then a very light coating in the egg. Do that 3D pork. And the breadcrumbs go last. I'm only doing 3 of these, so that's 1 down. Alex, are you satisfied with my breading technique? Now I'm just throwing flour all over the place. The thing is, when I'm doing this normally, like sometimes I just like want to get it done with, and I will end up getting breading all over my hands because I'm trying to be faster. Like that'll somehow make it faster. There we go. It's more just like impatience, I guess. I do also like to let these kind of sit in the breading for a minute and let it really get like adhere to it. That loud creaking noise is Georgina getting her package from Amazon. Had to call her out. She tried to sneak by.
It wasn't Amazon.
Was not Amazon. Baby tongs. I mean, that would be a good purchase for sure. I only have big tongs that hurt my hand when I use them. All right, ready for the best part here. But before I put these in, I'm gonna just look at the tots, maybe rustle them around a little bit. And I'm also going to check on the cheese again. Not frying ASMR time quite yet, almost. So look, the cheese, it still is not like fully combined, but it's almost there. And it's doing like nice things like that. Great. Oh yeah, the tots. The tots look good, they sound good. We should have good timing with all this stuff because these are almost there. I haven't cooked with tots in a little bit. I don't know if I was burnt out. I don't think so. So the tots are at the point right now where they're a little fragile, actually. So when the tots are frozen, they're very sturdy. And then, I burned the towel a little bit. When they're frozen, they're very sturdy. When they're cooked, they're sturdy. But in between, they're a little bit fragile. So you have to be careful when you rustle them around like that. Pan's at 400, if you're wondering. I have a new mic. I have to get closer now. There you go. Try not to stick my face into the oil. And these will only take about 1.5 minutes per side. Looking good. I'm adding a tiny bit of milk to the cheese back here because it feels a little tight, and I want it to pour nicely over the tots. Sunday. I mean, whose idea was it to eat a super Sunday, as you call it, at 1:30 p.m.? Just wondering. I mean, I'm sure it was yours. Tots go really well with ice cream, so don't worry about it. Usually you have the tots first and then the ice cream second. So I'm not sure how good of the base that the tots are going to be. Or the ice cream. Usually you want the base layer first. Cheese doing good. Pork doing good. Tots doing good. Trying to rotate these all so that they get that nice golden action all around. This pan, this burner that I have here, is a little finicky. Yep, need the golden. This guy knows what he's talking about. Javen, what have you fried before? Because I know you don't eat meat. I guess you could do some cheese like this. But usually that would be deep fried, wouldn't it? Or are you back on the meat train? All right, I'm going to get this out of here. And then we'll be about ready to build everything up. I'm going to wipe down the counter real quick. I'm going to use this plate for everything. And I was thinking about the order of this a lot because I was like, should I chop up the pork and sort of like mix it in with the tater tots? What I'm going to do is tots, cheese, pork, sauce, cabbage, and scallions. Took me a while to figure that out. Tater tots are almost there. As you can hear, it's nice and crispy. So this is how it's usually served, and I'm going to basically put it like that right on top. Let's do another one. I think you should come down a little closer. Yeah, it's nice and crispy. I'm really excited to dig in to that. Sorry if anyone's getting seasick right now. Trying out my new camera a little bit. Man, these are so good. As you can hear by me eating that, it's super crispy, and that's why I decided to serve it the way I am, because if I mixed it with the tater tots, I felt like it would get drowned by the cheese and lose some of that crispiness. Don't be bashful with the cheese. I think you would probably consider that bashful, wouldn't you? All right, so that's the dish. Really excited about it. Here, it looks really good from like. Yeah, this is very good. Uh, this is awesome. It's so funny. I really only thought of this dish and this combination like 2 days ago, I guess. And it's been going over and over in my head since then, how I would put it together, how it would taste, all that stuff. And once everything is combined, it's just kind of like this magical sort of connection. John, I wish you were here because I would split this with you, but put the other piece of pork on top as well. And we could serve the cheese on the side for dipping. Me eating this whole thing live is a different YouTube channel. one to cook it and one to eat it. But yeah, this has been really fun as always. I'm obsessed with how this came out. I'm going to have to put it together in a little bit of a different way for a really great photo. Cassie, thanks. Let me know if you cook it. Let me know how people like it. I think it's really successful. I think this would be awesome, obviously, as like an appetizer for everyone to share at like a sports bar or something when we can go to those type of places again soon. But yeah, really, really tasty stuff. And so, like I said, let me know when you make it, send a picture, and come back, everyone. Next week, I will be doing this every Thursday. One more week at 2 p.m. Then I'm going to take a week off and then daylight savings time. And I'll be doing this at 4 probably after daylight savings time. So thank you all for one more bite. One more bite. Yeah, it's really good. I mean, usually I take a bite and then wait until like after the stream to really just like go to town. Because I can't talk with my mouth full. Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for coming, everyone. And I will see you all next Thursday.